Welcome back. How was the lunch? It was only that good? Okay. Okay, so while we are digesting slowly but firmly, we have a talk about the near future. The near future where our power as digital wizards is showing the results. In the near future, we will be able to book our stay for vacation or for travel, talking in real natural language with a bot. I'm talking, everybody knows I'm talking about the chatbots, which have been experiencing huge leaps ahead in the last days. Today's talk about bots is by Prabhsimran Singh Baweja. He comes from India. He works at booking.com, and you can call him Prab, but of course you can give him a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. So the purpose of this talk will be to not make you sleep and to inspire you about chatbots. Let's go over the agenda today. So I'll be explaining what a chatbot is first, then the components of a chatbot, then I'll be showing a small demo where you can actually book a hotel using natural language from a chatbot. Some challenges that we faced at booking.com while building this thing, and how will they transform the travel industry, and how can you contribute? So what is a chatbot? Well, Wikipedia says a chatbot is a computer program or an artificial intelligence which conducts a conversation via auditory or textual methods. This term was coined by Michael Malden in 1994. So according to this definition, a chatbot is just an assistant that helps you communicate via messages. So we can also say an IVR is a chatbot, and we have been seeing this from a long time. So an IVR is being used by a lot of companies to communicate and to help customer service. Let's go over some history of chatbots. So it started way back in 1966 when ELIZA came up, but it was just a hard-coded system where you have some user prompts and you reply. Then came up Jabberwocky. This was one of the earliest attempts to actually create an AI through human interaction. Then IBM Watson, that's a pretty famous one. We use natural language processing and machine learning to look at large amount of data. Then we all know Siri, the personal assistant in iPhone. Google Now, voice search in Google. I don't know how good Siri or Google Now are, but they're trying. Alexa, the Amazon voice interaction model. Cortana, Microsoft's personal assistant, a less heard one. And latest this year we saw Duplex, Google I/O. But when you look at the history, and when I said IVR, there's something different. There's something which is missing in the definition of chatbots. What exactly is that? Well, the definition is incomplete without. Such programs are often designed to convincingly simulate how a human would behave as a conversational partner, thereby passing the Turing test. So what Turing test says is, if a human is judging a conversation between a human and a machine, and it is not able to decide which of these is a machine, then that machine passes the Turing test. And that has not happened yet. So when we look at all these examples, the history, and everything, I think what a chatbot is, A chatbot is actually not a program, it's your friend. I'll go over some components of a chatbot now. So when I say a friend, what is the most important thing you have in your friend? It's the brain. Similarly, in a chatbot, it has to be a brain of the chatbot, the natural language understanding system of the bot. So I'll be using NLU a lot, which means natural language understanding. So let's go over the main component of a chatbot, the natural language understanding system. It has three parts, three most important parts. One of them is converting language to a structured form. The other is intent classification, and then extracting details from text. Let's go over language to a structured form. So whenever we communicate, we have a language that we communicate in. For example, currently I'm speaking English to all of you to communicate. You might speak Spanish to each other. Computers speak in a different language. They use binary, zeros and ones to communicate. Similarly, when you're building a chatbot, but you need to have a language which it can understand and then go ahead and use that and reply in a better way. So, the most important part of the NLU, converting language to a structured form. I'll give an example. Hi, my name is Prab, and this is the first time I'm visiting Barcelona. Now, what my system can do when I'm building this system, what I can do is, I can break this into parts, name Prab, country name Spain. Now, it depends if you want to use this country name or not. It might be that you don't care about what the person is saying after some time. It's just like, hi, my name is Prab. Or it may be possible that you're building a bot that helps you book hotels. Then this information can be useful because the next sentence you can suggest the person hotels in Barcelona. Intent, we'll look at that. Date and time, so that you have an idea of where the person is from and what exactly is happening there. The next part of the NLU, intent classification. Hi, my name is Prab, and this is the first time I'm visiting Barcelona. Now, my system can say this intent is a greeting, and it can just reply, hello, Prab, how are you today? Or it can mean that he is visiting Barcelona, so maybe I should suggest some places to him. So it can have one or more intents. One of them can be greeting, the other can be book a hotel or book a flight or something, or book something else. So there are several ways in which you can do intent classification. The two main are, one is grammar rules, where you have a lot of grammar rules and you just put out the intent according to those grammar rules. And if you find something which is out of the box, you create a new intent and you create a new grammar rule for that. The second way could be, you have some basic rules and you learn out of them. So some basic rules can be, this can be related to when you're a child and you're learning a new language, you learn some basic rules and you learn from conversations. So you use a lot of machine learning, deep learning, and then come up with a better understanding of what the person wants and what do you want and what the intent is. So this can be very difficult. It's very easy to say how to do it, but when you actually start looking at this problem, it is still not solved. Now, another important part of the NLU system is the ambiguities. How do you solve the ambiguities? Someone says, I want to book a hotel at a beautiful location. What does beautiful mean? It can mean a resort to me, it can mean a beach to me, it can mean a mountain to you, something else to you. How do you decide that? And as free text, a person can say anything. He's not restricted to say anything. So then a second example would be, I'd like to watch the night game. What do you mean by night? It can be that the person is in a completely different time zone and he's referring to some other game. What do you mean by game? It can mean cricket to me, it can mean football to you, rugby to someone else. So there are a lot of ambiguities in the NLU system that are still not solved and that are being tried to be solved. So now that we have the first component of a chatbot, the most important one, the natural language understanding part, we have to have something that mediates through the NLU system and gives the reply to the user as well. You have the brain, but you have to have the mouth to speak as well. So the next part, the mediator. It interacts with the NLU, it processes information from the NLU, and it interacts with the user. And what do I mean by interaction with the NLU? Now, there can be two ways in which you interact with the NLU. One way can be you send everything to the NLU and it replies to you and you send it directly to the user. The second way can be, which I think is a better way, you send most of the things to the NLU and then it replies, but some information is missing and you use some tools to get that information to find those missing parts and then you reply to the person so that you don't have to do everything with the NLU. It's not overburdened. So this is the NLU interaction part of the mediator. So, and a mediator will have two components, the front end and the back end. The front end is making content rich and showing things beautifully to the customer, to the user, so that they don't feel bored. As a back end engineer, I usually don't like beautifying a lot of things. So, but you have to have that in the mediator. If you want to have a friend, he doesn't have to be a bot, right? Then the backend part, it will interact with the NLUs, send information and send some output, and you'll process them and send it to the user. And with the user interaction part, there can be a lot of cases where you don't understand what the user says. So what will be the right way to answer that? For example, if someone says something which I don't have an intent for, what is the correct answer for that? Do I say, sorry, I don't understand that, which is not a very good reply, which creates a lot of friction? Or do I say, can you please rephrase the question? And then the person replies, and then I say, sorry, I don't understand that because I'm sure I won't get it then also. So there are no right or wrong answers to this, but there are a lot of ambiguities in the chatbot which are still being solved. And also you have to take care of the session. So when I'm talking to someone, I end a conversation sometime and I switch context. That has to happen with the chatbot as well. So, and that will be taken care by the mediator. If I'm talking about hotels in Barcelona and suddenly I want to see places in Amsterdam, I'll have to switch context, and the mediator has to take care of that. So that is taken care by the mediator. So now we have the natural language understanding part, we have the mediator, we have the back end and the front end. And the front end is talking to the user. Let's go to the last part, the tools. Now, you cannot rely on the natural language understanding system to do all the things for you. You have to use some tools to get some things done. And in this world of open source things, you already have a lot of things that you can use. You don't have to reinvent the whole wheel again and not use anything. If you use open source stuff, you're actually helping both the communities. You're helping yourself because you don't have to do the work yourself. You're helping the open source because you're using them and improving that thing and giving them bugs to solve. So, what does the chat what contain? The natural language understanding, the backend, the front end, which talks to the user, and some tools. Which are used by the backend or which can be used by the NLU system depending on how you want to build this thing. So this is the main. In chatbot, you have some tools, you have the NLU part, which is a brain, and you have the user, and the user can be an application, a chatbot built. on your website or a different social network, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. I'll give a couple of examples on how to go about this. So let's say the user says, "Hi, how are you?" Now, when you're a chatbot, when you're a person, you don't always send everything to your brain. There are two types of thinking fast and thinking slow. And when you're thinking fast, you just have an impromptu reply to some things. When you're thinking slow, you send it to your brain processes the thing, and then you reply. So similarly, with the chatbot, you have to do the same thing. You don't have to send everything to the brain, and the brain takes time and responds. It'll slow your bot as well, and that'll overburden that thing as well. So for simple intents like greetings and all, you can just reply directly. I'm good, thanks for asking. How are you? For complex things like book a flight to New York, now the bot doesn't understand what this is because it is the intent can be book here and book a flight here. So it has to send it to the NLU, and the NLU will understand it and see what is missing from the language, from the structured form, and then tell the bot what to ask to the user. In this case, it sends it to the NLU, and the next question NLU asks is when. Now, there can be two questions that the NLU system can ask here. One is when, and one is from where. Now, you can be smart and say if the person is talking from Barcelona, he's looking for flights from Barcelona to New York. So you just have to ask when. And maybe that is wrong. The person is looking from somewhere else. They'll correct that. That's fine. So the next question you ask is when. The user says tomorrow. So now you have the whole thing. Flight from Barcelona to New York tomorrow. The chat the NLU converts it to a structured form, and now you send this to the tools, and the tools will give you results, and you show those results to the user. But what I just explained, this is a program. This is not your friend. Something is missing here. What exactly is that? Personalization. You have to make your bot in such a way that it personalizes stuff. It shows what the person it knows what the person likes, what the person doesn't like. It knows all the patterns of the person because people communicate in a different way. They have different ways of communication. They like something, they don't like something. You have to understand what beautiful word means for someone, and for someone else it doesn't mean something. So you have to have some personalization so that you can build a friend and not a program. Let's go over the demo now. So this is the NLU system that booking.com has built, and I'll be showing one input and how we process the output. So this is, now I explained the mediator has two parts, back end and front end. I'm showing the back end part, and then I'll come to the front end part where you beautify these things and the person likes it. So in the back end part, the user says hi, and you have all this confidence that you understood it, because you have to have some probability, right? When you're understanding the message, you cannot be 100% sure. As a human, I'm not 100% sure what my friend means. So as a bot also, it has to be the same. Then you reply hello because this was a simple statement. You have some text. Let's type another one. Barcelona night. I hope the internet works. Yeah. So now, hotel in Barcelona tonight. The natural language understanding system knows that the person wants to arrive tonight, that is 3rd of September. He's looking for an accommodation and he's looking in the city Barcelona in Spain. So it has all the replies. And the next question or the next statement it says is hotel in Barcelona arriving for one night. Now, this can have two parts again. I just assumed that the person is looking for one night. You can say how many nights do you want to go? That is also one case. But that depends on how you build this whole thing. And this is the pure back-end part of it. But when you actually interact on Facebook with this, so what happens is, hi, then some reply, then hotel in Barcelona tonight, you actually see some hotels with some pictures and some front end stuff and some beautification so that the person likes this thing and they go for something. You can also say, I'm not sure if the internet is working. Let's try. Hotel in Barcelona with a swimming pool tonight. Yeah. It, okay. I spelled Barcelona wrong. Yeah, but it right. And it gave you some hotels. It said nothing math.